So, does this work? Hello? Hello? Is this thing on? Did you guys miss me? How's it going? Hello? Yeah, so what happened, chat? I said someone was fat in PoE and GGG muted me. And it turns out the mute doesn't just stop you from trading, it also stops you from streaming. The cam quality is amazing. It's a little bit better than my old camera. I figured, so you wouldn't know what I was doing wrong with the old camera and why it was going all like on the fritz. I'm pretty sure it was just overheating because I was leaving it on. So I realized you just have to turn it off and then turn it on. But like don't leave it on like all the time. Yeah. So yeah. Wait, how long has it been since I last streamed? A long time. 20 days? Oh my god. Explain this. Explain what? Explain what? Yeah, that mod is really tall. Yeah, can we just pretend I went on vacation? So, while I've been away, chat, on vacation to Disneyland, which is the story we're going with, I have been thinking about Last Epoch a lot. I just didn't, part of it is I just didn't want to practice because do you think you need to like speed run level 100 in like 20 hours? Because it's like, I think level 100 in Last Epoch and level 100 in Diablo 4 are pretty much the same. So I don't think you need to like race that, you know what I mean? I don't think you have to race it. Yeah, so Last Epoch launches in exactly 51 hours, but I'm expecting the servers to be completely bricked. But yeah, anyway, so this is based off of Dreadful's idea, but it's a Falconer build. All streamers playing Rogue ... Okay, look, I am okay not playing Rogue if everyone's playing Rogue and it's cringe as fuck. Okay, I'll play a different class, but before you criticize, before you like talk shit, hear me out. Hear me out. Are you ready? Nets have a chance to cause bleed. Nets cause enemies to take physical damage over time and bleed once per second. Nets deal more damage and more bleed duration. Bleed mage. And then you go Caltrops. And then you go aerial assault. And then your Caltrops bleed. Where is it? Yeah, your Caltrops have a chance to cause enemies to bleed. And your nets also throw puncture. Where's the puncture one? Oh, it's here, right? Yeah, here we go. Are nets like traps? So nets aren't traps, but you can turn nets into traps. Somewhere here, where is it? Yeah, here we go. Basically, you throw one net, right? And that net throws 3 traps effectively. It turns into 3 traps. Those traps can detonate into a net. And those nets will throw Caltrops. And those nets will also fire punctures. And so 1 net equals 3 nets, which equals 3 punctures, which equals 3 Caltrops, and they all can bleed. And so every single throw is 9 hits, which can proc like 10 bleeds each or something. But I don't know if they can hit the same target, which is the problem. And I also don't know, like, there's a lot of things I don't know. And I've also not really played Bleed in Last Epoch before. What league are you gonna go? Okay, so hear me out. So let's talk about Last Epoch plans. Okay, let's talk Last Epoch plans. So, this is the master plan. Trade equals meme on hardcore. Look at PoE Omega Low. So, here's the plan, I think that there's only gonna be a few people in hardcore that are gonna get like to empowered monoliths and get to like level 100 in the first, you know, couple days. I think that's only gonna be a few people. Like how many people do you think are actually even playing hardcore? Like maybe what, like 5-10% of people? Let's say there's 100,000 people on Last Epoch launch. There's probably gonna be more, but let's just use that as a base number. There's probably only gonna be like 5 to 10,000 people playing hardcore. And of those people, how many of those people are gonna stay alive and make it to high levels and trade away good gear? Like probably like 50 to 100, right? I don't think 50 to 100 people that you actually care about trading with is gonna matter in Last Epoch. At least at the beginning. I just don't think that's gonna matter at the beginning. So my logic is I'm gonna go COF at the beginning. I'm gonna go like the self-found league, the crafting league, whatever you wanna call it. And then I'm gonna make a second character that I'm gonna swap into, and then that's gonna be trade. So I'm gonna play both. I'm gonna play both, and I want to get them both to level 10. Good patch notes. We get patch notes in roughly 2.5 hours. Okay, so I was planning on playing this build, which is I was gonna like finish POBing it or whatever, but I was gonna play bleed, net, with caltrops and puncture. I don't see too many people playing this build, except for maybe like Dreadful possibly. I don't know what he's playing, but Dread gave up in his version due to mana issues. The only reason this build has mana issues is because of this, right? Server of Tricks. Isn't that it? Because Puncture is a 0 mana cost ability, right? And caltrops don't cost mana either, right? So it's literally, and then you reduce this to 0 via rings. So it's literally just Server of Tricks, right? And you get mana back from Puncture. That's assuming Mind Piercer works, which we don't know if it works. If Mind Piercer works, shouldn't it be basically free though? Oh, man, do I assume Dreadful's cooked? Is Dreadful one of the people that got access to early access? I hate that, by the way. I'm so tempted to go on a rant and show you guys. I even saved the video somewhere, I think. Basically, the idea is this, chat. Similar to Diablo 4, a bunch of max roll content creators got given access to the full release of the game, or the alpha of the full release of the game. So they're on the 1.0 alpha. And so all of those people have played the game, they know what's changing, and they know like, they've played Falconer, they've played Warlock. And currently they're under NDA. That NDA launches today, lifts today. And so in roughly 2 hours, I'm expecting max roll to be flooded with Falconer footage and guides. Now, I personally think this is a negative thing. I would rather that not be a thing, because it means they're all gonna have these builds already like launching before like they're even out. I think that's a negative thing. I think that's a negative thing. The Ziz showcase video is fine. The like them releasing like a bunch of like fully written, fleshed out guys with like DPS numbers and shit.
SSD bleed, but Falconer.
I just ignore all those builds and play blind. That's the main counter argument, is that if you don't like it, you can ignore those builds. And I think for Last Epoch, in my case, that's true. I can just ignore that. Except, maybe you guys can relate to this, but if you can do something, like if you are allowed to do something, you'll do it. I can't not be optimal on purpose. Yeah, I can't screw myself on purpose. FOMO, perhaps. Autism, maybe. Like, okay, let's use POB as the argument, as the vehicle for the argument, right? POB exists. That's just true, right? You have to accept POB exists, right? And you have to also accept that POB gives you an advantage to use. Do we accept these terms? Now, let's say you said to yourself, I don't really like using POB. I think it cheapens the experience of the game, right? And then someone countered by saying, just don't use it then. Do you see why that's a bit regarded though? Chat, it all comes down to this. Look, this is the best way, chat, of showing you why it's stupid. So there's a tier list on Maxroll, chat, and it says Torment Warlock as an S tier corruption pusher. How do they know that? I haven't, chat, have you played Torment Warlock before? What the fuck is a Torment Warlock? I haven't played this. Yeah, what is a Ballista Falconer? I've not played this. Like, this really showcases the problem. I see this information from the Maxroll team, and I'm like, okay, so I guess I'm playing this, this, and this, and I'm not gonna play this, this, and this. Dread reckons that the mana cost on net traps is too high, but I was trying to determine what the actual cost is. And as far as I'm aware, if you have 2 minus throw costs, and Puncture is free and Caltrops is free, it should either be free with 0 points in Sever, 5 with 1 point, or 10 per throw. Which doesn't seem that bad. Like, that seems totally fine.
Said.
I was DM'd to come here, and now you're bullying Khan. Hey, Dreadful! Dreadful, I was gonna ask, actually. Okay. Now that Dreadful's here. Because if Dreadful says this is a bad idea, I'll listen to him. I can hop on Discord. Yeah.
Okay, so for the net trap stuff, it went from like 11 mana at base and like one mana per explosion or trap. There's like 3 extra mana. It went from that to 16 mana with no extra mana refund. Okay, so to essentially get the skill very close to 0, which is like your prerogative with this kind of build, right? Because you want to be spamming it, because you know it's a bleed skill. You just want to like be throwing a bunch of it, right? And you need 2 tier 7 minus mana cost rings, so that's -5 per ring, and that gets it all the way down to 6. Then you also want to be running a foot of the mountain pair of boots to get it all the way down to 0.
Okay, but hear me out. Hear me out. So I get that you want to be able to spam it, right? It does have it has an arm time, and it has a limit of 6, right? I don't even know if you'll be able to throw them that quickly, like to let them arm. So I was thinking just take one server of tricks out and just run sealed mana cost, right, to minus it by 6. Then that would have a cost of only 5. And do you know how many throws you're doing per second? Because with just T5 mana, you're getting 14 mana regen.
I would say like 3 throws per second is a good average.
Yeah, so that would give you a mana cost of 15. So if you can get like literally just 15 mana regen, you would have a net 0 cost, right? Like factoring in mana regen.
That's something called letting the devs win, and I don't like that.
But that would work, no?
It would. You are correct. So, like, I don't think the build is dead, by the way, when I say this. Like, when I say DOA, I mean, like...
You need to change it from that build
I need to change it from that video,
Yeah.
and I would need to play it, and I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to play it.
You don't actually ever have to get it to 0, though, right? You just have to have the mana regen counter.
You just need... You need something close. So the biggest problem was before you could like run tier 1s -3s, right? You know how like you can get the throwing mana cost.
I'm still gonna do that, but
and then you could seal that, right?
Yeah.
But now you're incentivized to run tier 7s for the -5 mana cost, right? Because like the high mana cost, so you can get the additional trap thrown. And of course, as well, you're also incentivized to run foot of the mountain. Like, look at our boots right now. Look at our boots, and you tell me, what would you rather run? Something that gives you your minus mana cost some of the time, or like those boots? Like those boots are insane, obviously. So it's just like, when I looked at that, I was just like, okay, like we're gonna have to rethink this, and we're gonna have to like actually play. Like, essentially, I need to play it in game before I can actually recommend it. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have.
Do you think my logic of just getting sealed throw with 1 mana regen roll on each ring, tier 5, and then going with just 1 less point into server, I think that will be at least playable.
Yeah, it will be playable. That will be the way to go if you want to play this. I think that would be definitely the way to go. I think it'll be just fine.
While I got you here, though, I might as well ask. It's not clear yet if Bloodthirst will work, right? I think people are saying it should.
That was already confirmed. It does not work.
Bloodthirst or Mind Piercer?
Both. So the stacks you will not gain stacks. Now, that is on purpose. The thing is, though, with the way that this build is being built, you are not going to need that. You're not going to need that damage for like 90% of any situation. Like right now, your current planer is like, I think like 800% global bleed or something stupid like that. So like that extra 360 bleed is literally just there for single target. So the idea is on a singular target, right? And you're throwing a bunch of net traps and you run out of mana. While you're waiting to get back mana, you can just poke the boss with puncture a few times, right? And then by the time you get your mana back up to max, you'll have your bleeding fury stacks. And I don't know if you've ever played around with this buff, but it's like one of the easiest buffs to ever maintain. It has like a 5-second like duration, and whenever you hit something, it or 3 second, I guess, but like what it feels for like forever, because whenever you poke something, it re-ups like instantly. So it's like really good.
On that note,
just for single target, that's all you really care about.
Would you run Mutilate, or do you think it fucks with boss DR too much?
Now, the way that leech interacts with damage over time, because yes, chat, you can leech from your damage over time. If you have a tick, that is a new instance of leech. And then if you have another tick, you have a new instance of leech. Let's say you go to max HP, right? If you like hit a boss really, really hard, you do like 1 billion damage, right? And you leech off of that. You hit to max HP, that leech instance, gone. Instantly gone, right? Like just like in Path of Exile. Now, in LE though, if you hit them with a dot, every single time you tick on an enemy, that is a new leech instance. So it effectively works like you have like health regen or something like that, because you know you're always getting all those ticks of leech, and it is one of the best experiences I've ever had in the video game, just by like dot leech. Like
yeah, dot leech is OP. Yeah, it's how the lich builds play their build, right?
Yeah. So why would you go out of your way to remove one of your best advantages? The only pops that I think that are worth it are the ones that make your damage deal more damage. Like for instance, Enchant Weapons Ignite pop makes your ignites do like 200% more damage. Like that's a worthwhile pop, right? But not the bleed pops and stuff.
To be fair though, you are essentially doing like 8 seconds of bleed duration instantly with Mutilate.
Yeah, so, like if that kills the enemy, that's great and all. But like for most bosses, that won't kill them. Right? It's just how it is. I'll be honest, that node is just for like YouTube thumbnails. It's just for fun. It's just for fun, man.
All right, one more question. I'm just gonna get all the questions out while you're here. I noticed you were doing axe and shield. What do you think about using arrow guard and a bow? Because the bows are similar enough in terms of their stats.
Yeah, so you could do both. Either way works, to be honest. The main reason I was going with one-handed axe and shield is like, look at her shield.
So the chance to bleed, you can get chance to bleed on an LP arrow guard, which is easier to get than a LP flares. So the main thing here, and then the block and the glancing is, well, I would say the glancing is better actually.
Yeah.
On the quiver.
There's a node inside. Yeah, there's a node inside, of course. Falconer that converts your block into like glancing blow.
Yeah, this one, right?
Like, yeah, and that is very easy to cap with a Flare's Pride, because all you gotta do is just hit block chance on it. Like, that's not a very hard thing to do, like to do that eventually, and that would like cap your glancing blow. Now you could do an arrow guard with a bow. That would work too. Like, I think both approaches are fine. This is just like the approach I chose to do, because like I think it would be the easier thing to set up quickly, because like getting an arrow guard with LP will take longer than getting like a flares with LP, I think.
Yeah, but so the main difference I saw was you lose that fizz pen. So I guess how valuable is that versus like
very early on, it's very good.
Right. All right, in chat, we're talking to Dreadful. He's helped me out in the past a lot with Last Epoch. He's one of the god gamers. You didn't get closed testing. Was that by choice or?
It was 100% by choice, because at the time
Giga Chad.
Well, the problem was like I could play on the server and not make content, or I could like play by myself and make content. You know, like obviously, you know, I'm gonna choose one or the other in this regard. Like, I want to be like the rest. I want to be like the rest of the men. I want to be like the rest of the chat. I want to be excited too. Like, I don't want to have to know. I don't want to know everything beforehand. Like, dude, I do a podcast with Perry like every like Friday when we talk about Last Epoch, and like he has to constantly catch himself. Like, I don't want that. That'd be awful.
Oh yeah, so Perry's a tester then. So he knows, dude. You know in Path of Exile how movement skills tend to share charges, right? Like you can't just use Flame Dash and Frost Blink, right? You typically you pick one. It works the same way in Last Epoch, where you have what's called traversal skills. Very similar to PoE.
Gilraf just updated. Aerial Assault never had the traversal tag on Max Roll LE tools. It just had it in the videos. That's why we all thought that.
Yeah. So assuming that that's correct, then Aerial Assault is a movement skill that doesn't have the movement tag, which means it doesn't have a cooldown.
It's 20. Well,
it doesn't share it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like 20,000 times better, by the way, because like shift is a really strong skill, it turns out.
Yeah, you're not gonna drop shifts for aerial assault. That'd be stupid. As far as I'm aware, this basically is a movement skill then.
Yeah, you can use it. Yeah,
And
like, you can use it over smoke bomb. Yeah.
it also does the caltrop synergy with the bleed. That seems kind of good, no?
It is good. That was the main reason why I didn't do it. Well, also, they did nerf the caltrops node.
Mine now.
Wait, what?
It's
Last Epoch
you can only do like 2 every 2 seconds now.
Right, I did see that.
Yeah, so like
But-
it's not. That's good for clear though. It's fine for clear. Like that's
Which
what
I think is gonna be a thing you're gonna want.
Like,
We're back
at that
on,
point-
baby!
Because when you're clearing, you can just use aerial assault and drop a bunch of caltrops. Oh wait, link to full patch notes. What? Oh, it's not out. Oh, they're dirty. There's a link, but it's not updated.
It's a period! Alright.
There's a link. It's like in 13 minutes.
Oh shit.
All right, I'll talk to you later. So,
Alright,
thanks.
cheers, mate. Cheers. Alright, so everybody, that was dreadful. That was awesome! Yo, we're back on! We got a build, and we got patch notes! Let's go, boys!